Hello and welcome. It's Frances here. I'm so delighted to be able to be speaking to you today in relation to an offering that I have set up for next year. And I do hope you are in a position to be able to join me. Now, next year, 2022, you may have already noticed it's got 3 twos in it. And in some teachings, the triple numbers represent higher guardian angels, forces, their higher consciousness, higher energies in the universe, sort of working with us, guiding us towards a separate direction. It's interesting to note that the triple two appears in both the Quran as well as within some Christian texts. And if that's of no interest to you whatsoever, well, there may be within esoteric numerology, you add the 3 twos together. When it comes to the number 6, now the number 6 relates to journeys with responsibility, relationships, balance, love, healing, community, and also an opportunity of reinventing yourself. So you might be thinking about a change in career path or direction of some description. And after the last couple of years that we've had with COVID, pandemic, the stop-start situations, it's been rather enlightening, for want of a better word, especially when you add onto the energies of the lunar eclipse in November. That was quite interesting. And other planetary alignments that have happened have all seemed to indicate a constant reminder to us of releasing, surrendering. So how are you going with all that? We've got it, made it this far. So what's the new year got in store for us? Wow. I've decided to offer something that may or may not be of interest to you, but here we go. I've decided to run again my online course, Encountering the Dark Goddess, which is a month-long journey. And I've got here to reclaim your soul. So what is it all about? And before I dive into an explanation, I just want to acknowledge that I'm coming to you from Ghana country, and I'm acknowledging the Ghana people of the Adelaide Plains, who are the traditional custodians of this land. And in doing so, I pay my respects to their elders, past, present, and emerging. So, Encountering the Dark Goddess. Now, I'm opening up registrations for it now, because it's going to be starting on the 19th of January. And as I said, this is a month-long sadhana or a spiritual journey where we're going to descend, utilizing the lunar energies of the waning moon into the underworld to start to explore our shadow self. There's numerous interpretations as to what our shadow self is all about. But to me, this is sort of a very brief explanation. It's the unconscious aspect of our personality, which our conscious ego, our ID, our id, our identification, does not identify in itself. This means that not every aspect of the shadow is actually negative. There may very well be positive parts of our own self residing in the shadow that we have not yet identified with consciously. And that could be because maybe we were excelling at something at school and we got bullied or teased, or in order to sort of fit in with our tribe, we have sort of dimmed our light a little bit as not to stand out. Especially here in Australia, we have a habit of putting our heroes or people that we admire on pedestals and then turning around and chopping them off at the knees. Tall poppy syndrome. So you may have been a victim of that for some reason, and in order to fit in more, as I said, turn down our lights so we're no longer shining. However, of all this change that we're going through, now is our time to shine. Now is our time to actually reevaluate who we are, the self that we are projecting out into the world, and how that aligns with the self that resides deep within our chest, our heart, our soul. It's about coming into walking more with our truth, becoming more authentic, as opposed to just this aesthetic that we project out. And in doing so, it's not always easy work, especially when the veils are dropping and we realize that, I wouldn't say we've been living a lie, but sometimes it feels like we've been living a lie. Our world has been built on shaky ground or through someone else's perceptions. And we realize that we have become the person that we don't want to become. And this is where shadow work, and in particular, my course, Encountering the Dark Goddess, can come in order to help you to sort of render through that veil and show you and give you the courage to step into the darkness of your own soul. And it's not about spiritual bypassing, which is another term that seems to be bandied around a lot these days, nor this false pretense of happiness, of niceness. We're humans, we have emotions, we blow hot and cold all the time. It's knowing when to take on board someone else's releasing, or when to just continue to focus on our own work. So in this sadhana, we will be working with dark goddesses, dark aspects of the divine feminine. Now, who are these dark aspects, these dark goddesses? People tend to have their own interpretation. These are just some of mine. She's the shapeshifter. She appears in our dreams. She challenges us within mythology, like Morrigan in particular. She's the psychopomp. Now, psychopomps are guides into the underworld. And this is very fitting because that is where we're going to be going. So we're not going to be alone. We're going to have a guide to show us the way. She's the initiator, the challenger. She basically holds the mirror up to ourselves and tells us to look into it. And we're not allowed to look away. And then she challenges us again and again and again until we find out who we truly are. And it's through these challenges that we become initiated into our own true self. She's also a sorceress, the weaver of magic and mysticism. Are we under her illusion? Can we beat her at her own game? Can we actually step beyond the webs of the veils that have been created around us? Do we have the strength and the power to tap into that magic that we all possess within our deep souls? In order to transform, we have to die. So she is the death of the soul collector. She's collecting all the little bits and pieces of our shadow self that we have projected and pushed into the shadows. And she holds them, waiting for us to reclaim them. And in order to reclaim them, our own ego self, or aspects of our ego self, needs to be released and die, the old ways. If we hang on to the old self, especially when we're going through changes, she can appear as the nightmare maker, forcing us to change if we're not going to do it voluntarily, because she knows what our soul truly needs. But at the end of the day, she's also our guide and our protector. We are not alone when we go through this. We may feel that we are alone when we're beginning to release relationships, or find that people are not understanding, not wanting it to see us change. She is there to remind us that when we release something, we allow ourselves to be opening up to something more to receive in. So this opportunity that I am offering you the Encountering the Dark Goddess is a month-long online sadhana. So yes, it's going to be held online for easy access wherever you are. Sadhana means spiritual exploration. It's from a yogic or a Sanskrit word. And this is the aspect or the beauty of this journey, is that it is connecting with these deities, regardless of whether you see them as archetypes or energies or even live living beings as deity. You're connecting to a collective energetic force that these goddesses represent. And in doing so, through their guidance, we will move deep into our shadow self through the connection of the various dark aspects of the goddess, because they're all different, in order to commence positive change within ourselves at a deep level. And such work, of course, is going to take a while. And even with this month-long course, this could be just reaching the tip of the iceberg, depending on what is actually in your shadow self. So we're going to starting just after the full moon in January. So that's the 19th of January here in Adelaide time. And we'll be concluding just before the February full moon. So that's the 15th of February. So what will you receive? Detailed information about the goddesses you will be exploring and working with over the month. And you can add to this. So this isn't just a complete collection. You can certainly do your own research and add to the material that I already give you. You'll be given instructions as to how to set up altars if this is completely new to you, how to undertake daily devotional work. If you're not able to invest in the time to do something daily, even though that is recommended, then you'll be given opportunities and suggestions as to how you can do this work on a regular basis. Though the more that you undertake sitting at your altar, your sacred space, the deeper your connection will be with these dark goddesses. And that's the whole point. You will also be provided with prayers, mantras, and ideas of offerings that relate to each of these goddesses. And again, these all help you build up a relationship to these powerful figures of divinity. And the weekly emails that you will receive, they will consist of appropriate metaphysical and psychoanalytic concepts regarding how to work with the dark goddess and the shadow self. And this is because there's so many interpretations out there these days. I have collected a lot of information over the years. I used to do this course physically, which led on to writing the book, Counting the Dark Goddess. And so I'm providing you with information that you can take or leave depending on what resonates with you. And also, depending on your circumstances and your situation, you might not want to be diving really deep this time around. But you'll be at least being given the information. So when the opportunity or the desire is to descend again and dive deeper, you've got all these tools and resources at hand. And that's the whole point. There'll also be meditations, and that is a really great way to move beyond the conscious ego self into the soul self, into the subconscious. There will also be naturally a ritual online to coincide with the dark moon. Now, all the rituals and Zoom calls will be done Adelaide time, so that's Australian Central Standard Time. They will also all be recorded. So if this time doesn't realign with you, depending on where you reside, anywhere in the world, that is fine. You'll be receiving all copies of the Zoom calls sent out to you, so you can watch them and participate even in a dark moon ritual on your own. And it is recommended or suggested very strongly that if you're not able to attend the dark moon ritual on a certain date, that you try and set it up to undertake it within the next couple of days from that date in order to get the maximum benefit from it. So I've been showing some images of dark goddesses so far. So which one will you meet? They all come different shapes and sizes, different cultures. Some of them may even have surprised you as to their inclusion as being a dark goddess. The purpose of this sadhana, reason behind it, is by awakening the darkness within your own soul. You can cast aside those rose-tinted glasses and see things for what they truly are. And this could be a stumbling block for some people. However, this is why we work with psychopomps, with those dark goddesses, because it's through her guidance and drawing upon her strength and power. And this is power that's often fed. The power of the dark feminine is really, really scary at times for some people. You will find the courage to stand up and voice your own truth, to stand in your own power. And you'll also know what is the difference between ego truth and soul truth. And this is probably showing my age. Just like Neo in the 1999 movie The Matrix, the choice is yours. Which pill will you take? The blue pill of ignorance and illusion, and so you're continuing on with the life that you're leading now, that maybe you're not happy with, but you're in a rut and you're not prepared to do anything about it, especially as the cosmos and the universal energies are changing, are forcing us, as our orders, as our way of normal is disintegrating. Or will you take the red pill of reality and meeting the dark goddess? So the dark goddess Sadhana will commence on Wednesday, the 19th of January, and will go on to about Tuesday, the 15th of February, 2022. So this, as I said, is all Australian Central Standard Time, because I'm based in Adelaide. There'll be Zoom calls. These will all be recorded and sent out to all the participants. So if you missed the Zoom call, or you might want to replay it, see what other people are talking about, you'll have all that information at hand. To find details about how to register or what else is involved, these can be found on the Temple of the Dark Moon Facebook page, also our web page. I think I've also linked it to the IC and the Centre of Metaphysics Facebook page and web page as well. And I've given you the link here, templedarkmoon.com/training available /encountering the dark goddess. Then we go onto that page, there will be a link to running this course. I'll just stop my share. In the physical sense, because that's how I had been doing it in the past, and hopefully 2022 may give me another opportunity to present it in the physical aspect. However, I'm going to be doing it online because I do believe that this work needs to be out there. I believe that people need to be doing this release, and this is probably why I have priced it at a level where I hope is affordable for the majority of people who really need to do this work. And when you break down the figures, I think I've got the price at only 99 Australian dollars. That's for a month-long course, breaking down to less than or around about $3 a day. So I do hope that you find that affordable, if this is the work that is drawn to you're being drawn to. And if it is, I hope to see you then. Blessings and safe journeys throughout the coming year.